just roll the clips already?
With my dog, Duke.
Hi. Hi.
Hey guys, it's Linda Rose and welcome to the premiere. I am so excited, and I know it took me a minute to talk. I was watching my intro because I think that intro is I did that intro the way I did with all the little videos because that intro I just wanted to kind of give you guys a little insight on me that you guys don't really see. And I love that intro because it shows my favorite little animal in the world, which is my dog Duke, who I love so much, who's featured a few times in that. Shows my love for sports and that, and just kind of everything that I just love and enjoy. So I just wanted to share that during that intro, and I really liked the way that came out. So thank you guys so much for coming in on the premiere. I'm so absolutely excited. I have been counting down the days to this moment. I am so excited. I just kind of want to talk for a minute about kind of what this episode's gonna look like because it's gonna be a bit different than what you usually see. So something that I experienced when I started this journey is scheduling with reaching out to people and interviewing that I'm now doing myself. And it's a lot harder when you're a new and upcoming show to get people to schedule, to get interviews. And I think this is something I wanted to be really open about on this episode. So this episode is actually going to be a little bit different because I actually could not get a first interview for this episode. Some of the connections I did have just didn't work out. So I couldn't get an interview for this episode, which is, that's going to happen, especially with this Cruisin with Alara being a new and upcoming show. And something I want to be really honest about because it is hard, and now experiencing how hard that is. And I give respect to anybody that does a show that gets guests constantly. It's really difficult. And I know I only have one filmed interview right now that I'm really excited to share at the end of this month, but that was just something that I struggled with. So this week, what we're doing is my producer, who also produces Orchid Times, Renee Jaworski, is going to be interviewing me about sports. This is an idea that my grandmother and I brainstormed a little bit, and I think it's a great idea, especially since you guys are so used to me talking about poetry and stuff, and you've only heard a little bit about my insight on sports and what I play, and I just think that it would be a good first idea, and especially since I can get an interview, this was definitely something that was just a last minute little thought that I think will work out great. And plus, I would love to feature Renee Jaworski on my first episode because she's done so much help and so much with the helping with me, and I just think it's going to be amazing to have her interview me. And yeah, so that's what this episode's going to be. It's going to be Renee interviewing me for the first premiere. So before we get into the interview, there's just a little montage that Renee's going to play. And yeah, I'll see you guys back after the montage. So that was a little montage. I hope you guys like that. I loved that montage. It's a little messy at the end of the field hockey. Field hockey is my first year doing that, so we don't really have all the clips yet. But yeah, that was good. So now I'm gonna have Renee come on. We're gonna start this cute little interview. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. And yeah, let's just get started.
Hello, and thank you for allowing me to be here.
Hi, thank you so much for agreeing to do this, especially since, like I said, scheduling is and getting interviews is a lot harder than like it seems. So, this idea I think is a good way to kind of, start the show as well, and give you guys a little insight on me as well.
Absolutely. And because like you're right, we haven't dug into your athleticism, but it's such a big part of your life and who you are as a person. So, my first question for you, I think I know the answer, but I'm just going to ask, do you have a favorite sport?
I do. My favorite sport is softball. It has really always been it. I mean, even though I grew up around football, I just kind of fell in love with baseball and softball. And I played a little bit in like third grade, and I kind of stepped out of it. Um, and I came back into it when I went to the middle school, which was eighth grade, and I absolutely loved it. And it's just it's the main sport that I work on all the time.
Right. And then what about you as a fan? Because I know every athlete is also a fan. You keep up with all the different sports, right? Which one are you like an avid fan of? Does it line up with the ones that you do, or is it something totally different?
So it's actually it's a little bit different. I love baseball, obviously, but my two favorite sports to watch is basketball, which I do play. I love watching it. But my favorite sport to watch right now, which is really weird because it's not popular at all in the United States, is rugby, which I
Oh
know
my
sounds really weird.
gosh.
But if you guys have ever seen the show Heartstopper on Netflix, Nick Nelson plays rugby, and that's kind of where I saw just tiny little clips of it, and I just kind of searched up, and now I watch rugby all the time. Like I love it. I think it's such a cool sport, and it's like the I consider it the more dangerous version of football. But because there's like no pads or anything, and you'll see like them getting fixed up on the side, like still on the field, they'll like be getting like their first aid, and they will like in the middle of them getting fixed up, they'll enter the game and like tackle somebody, because that's legal in rugby. So I just think it's a really interesting sport, and I really wish it was more popular where I came from because I'd love to go see a game.
Yeah, it's really rough and tumble, right? Like they consider it one of the more dangerous ones. You are a risk taker and you had an incident last season. You want to tell people a little bit about that? And you did not flinch, by the way. So you're a rugby person at heart. Tell the people this story if they haven't heard it before.
Yeah, so at the third day of tryouts for my softball team, my freshman year, which was last year, I we were doing a pop fly drill, and I didn't have my mask on because I just didn't have it on. I was just being kind of stubborn about it because I do hate the mask because how sweaty it kind of gets. And I was being stubborn about it, which was stupid on my part, but I was being stubborn about it. And there was a pop fly, and I lost the ball in the sun, and it hit me in the face on this lovely side. And it was honestly, I hated it. Like I absolutely hated it. But when it happened, I like didn't know what it looked like. It hurt, but like I'm almost feel like if I'm not dying, like I'm like good to play. So I was like, I think I'm good to go. And my coach was like, you're going to the athletic trainer because I was huge. But it happened, and luckily I got out without like fractures or anything. I just had a few eye hemorrhages and like severe bruising, but it was good. I went back into softball about a week later, but yeah, that was I just kind of rolled with it 'cause, like at that point after like I can't do anything about it. Like I already have the bruise, my face is already swollen, so I just kind of rolled with it, laughed about it. We all made jokes about it. So and I was the first person that my varsity coach I was on JV, but the first person that my varsity coach ever hit in the face with the softball was me. So I gave him that honor of having that
What a thing to
that
be
title now.
noted for. Okay, that's funny. But here's the thing is when you were talking, you said, I just had a few eye hemorrhages. And I heard that and I was like, eye hemorrhages. Oh my gosh, that is so scary. You did. You actually kept going with everything that was going on in your life. You have a very busy life, a very busy schedule, and you just kept showing up and you just did not let it knock you down. What are some of the other injuries that you've sustained through the sports over the years?
It's definitely been quite a few. My left foot has been an issue all throughout the entire time I played sports. It started out the first time I ever hurt my left foot was right on the side. I fractured it walking. Don't couldn't tell you how I did it. It just broke when I was walking. But and then I sprained my left foot and ankle like I'd probably say over 10 times. I just that ankle's just really weak now. I have patellar tendonitis. I just had my first PT appointment for it today. Which is just your patellar tendon in your knee. It's just if you guys know what tendonitis is, it's just kind of like very like much of irritation on that tendon. So I do have patellar tendonitis. Is definitely probably the most actually like from breaking my foot and spraining it. I'd say my patellar tendonitis is the worst one. The most pain I've had because the pain is after the fact of working out. So I actually don't know like that I'm in pain until after I'm done like working out or playing sports. So I would say this one's the worst I've had in a really long time. But I've also done things like I jammed my wrists in eighth grade playing basketball because I fell because I tripped. That one was pretty bad. I'm always getting hurt, but as long as I'm not like dying or if it's not like I can like move it, you can probably count on me playing the rest of the game and telling my coaches after the game that I should probably go see the trainer.
Absolutely. And that's what, like, you have this fighting spirit, and you're not just like that on the field or whatever. You are like that in life. You never let anything deter you. You never let anything like, make you back down. Where does that type of attitude, that tenacious attitude, that rugby spirit, even though you're not a rugby player, but that whole like rough and tumble bravery, where does that come from? Were you always like that, or is that something that you've evolved to become?
I would say I've kind of always been like it, but I've been more in tune with it in
Mhm.
my last like I'd say 5 or 6 years. I've kind of always been like really tough and like kind of tough like with things like not really hurting and not really bothering
Mhm.
because I was the kid from the ages of like 5 to 10 that would fake injuries to get out of school. I
Oh,
was that kid.
really? Oh my gosh.
Me. And now you'd be shocked that like I'm at school like almost all day. Like I don't get home till like 7 o'clock sometimes. Like you'd be shocked at how long I'm at school now and how much I love it. But I used to be that kid that used to fake injuries. And some of my injuries I wasn't even like they weren't even really fake. Like they actually did happen, but I just would like make them worse than they actually
Right.
were.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, so just to get out of school. But no, I've always been like that. I think it's because I grew up around football with my dad,
Mm.
and like I was around like guys that were like 6 to 7 feet tall that were jacked and like were always like dislocating a finger and like popping it back into place and like they were like playing the
That's
rest
so
of the football
scary.
game. And I always like admired that drive, and I guess I just kind of like inherited it from all of them, just being around all the football players that can just do that. And obviously, it's not the smartest idea, but I just kind of like always aspire to be that person that like I don't want to let down my team, and I want to be there for them. So, stay in the game as long as I can until I absolutely cannot anymore.
Right. And like, I wanted to know what good sportsmanship means to you. Like losing, failure. How do you deal with that? How do you advise your teammates? What do your coaches sort of tell you for people who aren't athletes? I mean, you get that, you get out there and a lot of times you lose, but some of your best games might be ones that actually you technically lost as a team, right? But you had some glory moments in there. How do you deal with good sportsmanship? And have you had to deal with any moments of bad sportsmanship from maybe some opponents?
Bad sportsmanship, no matter like who you play, it's kind of always a thing. It's something you always face. Like I'm not gonna be the person that's like, yeah, I always face like bad sportsmanship, and like my team's just so good at it because my team, like no matter what, all of the sports that I play, my team does have our moments when refs are missing calls or umps are missing like strikes and like calling them balls and stuff. You do get those moments where like you get a little irritated. And a big thing for me that like if we're losing a game or we're getting irritated because refs or umps are making calls, a big thing that I just make sure my team is doing is just letting the coaches handle it because it does become like a huge problem. Our coaches will handle it, and also like during field hockey, if you're the head captain on the field, you can go to the refs yourself and be like, hey, these calls, there should have been some calls here. Like just please try and keep an eye out, and if you're respectful about it, they most likely hear you out. And if they don't, it does suck when that things happen with umps and refs, but a lot Student reps are there for the money, and I mean, like a lot of them deal with high school students who are really hard to deal with in sports because we are high school students. So it's I cut them a little bit of slack on missing those calls. So but our team, something that I really focus on, if we lose a game or we're having a hard time in a game, I watch game tape and I'll take I don't know I've taken up to like 50 clips from a game, and we us captains, we look at those clips, kind of see what we did wrong, and we come up with a little like some drills that we can do or some team bonding things that we can do. And if we come up with some drills, we'll come up with a full practice plan and we'll present it to our coaches. And usually our coaches will implement that practice plan for that day, and they'll actually end up moving their practice plan to the next day. Because as captains, as us being actually on the field, our coaches love for us to come up with those practice plans and kind of come up with those ideas because we're on the field and we're playing and we know what we need to work on. So for me, it's if we're having bad sportsmanship on the field or on the court, we almost always 100% time call a timeout, and get in our little huddle, and us captains, we're very honest. We say that we need to cool down, that it does suck that umps are missing calls or that we're losing, but like getting mad at them or being rude to the other team isn't going to help us. So it's just always trying to keep a positive mindset and cutting people some slack, because I mean, like a big thing is like you never know what anybody else is going through or what those umps had that day. They may have had a bad day, and it's not right for them to like purposely, because we do have umps that do pick sides, and it happens everywhere. So it's just you can't. It doesn't give them an excuse to do it, but there's nothing we can do to change it. So we just try and keep a positive mindset, even if we are losing.
Right. And so you mentioned that you're a captain, so there's a lot of leadership involved, a lot of organizational abilities. How does the leadership and the sportsmanship and teamwork collaboration that you learn in sports, how has that sort of bled over into the other sectors of your life? Because you're very multi-talented, you do a lot of different things. So yeah, how does the stuff that you learn as an athlete transfer into other things that you're doing?
So yeah, so being a captain, you have to be like you are forced to be like you have to be more mature on the team. Like if the umps or the refs need to say something to your team, they go to the captains, and you like as a captain have to say it to your team. So you have to keep a level of maturity. And you can't like bad sportsmanship if you're a captain cannot happen because of the level of maturity you have. Like you were chosen for a reason, so by your coaches or by your teammates. So you have to risk like for me when I get chosen as captain, I take that role very seriously. So I always make sure that like my team's hustling on the field. If someone on my team is struggling, like if we're doing a conditioning drill and someone on my team is struggling, I make sure that if once I finish the drill myself, I'll go back and do the drill however long again it takes them to finish, so that they're not doing it alone. And I would say all those skills, that maturity level I get, the sense of sportsmanship, and kind of I guess loyalty I get from being a captain definitely reflects onto like doing shows, interviews, my school life. I'm in a lot of higher classes. I do a lot of I just dropped the study hall to get a credit for a class. Like I'm very, very goal oriented, very school oriented. So having that level of maturity and all that really, really helps in school, especially with the higher classes I'm in. You kind of have to be mature because there's so much homework and like assignments that you have to be able to understand a bit on a more mature level. So I would say that being a captain, just that sense of maturity comes in handy in pretty much everything I do every day.
Yeah, that really makes sense. And that was my experience too. Like all of the stuff that I did through sports, I used in music, I used in school, I used surely here at the network, law school, everything. It's all connected. And that's the thing, is that a lot of people don't realize that athleticism and physical fitness and that kind of teamwork, it's really good for your health and your creativity and all of these other things. It's not just about your body, like you're actually exercising every single part of your being. It's kind of holistic, right? That's what I'm hearing you say, right?
Mhm. Yeah, it's definitely like, but also as a captain, I think it's like a very common misconception about being captain is that like you run everything. And yeah, we do
Mm.
do a lot of like kind of controlling, like we do like captains do a lot of like running drills and stuff, but we also like, I'm definitely not the best player on my team and like I'm a captain. So if there's this player on the team that's better than me, even though I'm a captain, if I know that like the drill that we're doing, I can't demonstrate to like a good ability so that the rest of my team can understand. I'll have someone else that may not be a captain but is better at that skill than me step up and demonstrate instead of me so that my team can get like an actual good like demonstration and learn what the drill is. So I think the common misconception is that we run everything. We really just make sure that our team is working together and that we are keeping good sportsmanship. We're being nice to each other and that we are not, kind of bashing on each other and turning on each other. And so we do control things, but not in a sense that like everybody listens to us because everybody on our team is technically a captain. We're just the ones that get talked to the most on the field.
I love that philosophy, and that's also very true. True humility is just being realistic. And if you're pulling for your team, you're going to be delegating the things and the roles to the people that are going to get your team the win, whether or not it's you. So that's a sense of also emotional maturity that a lot of people don't have, but you're learning it every single day and you're implementing it every single day on the field. You mentioned your dad a little bit earlier. Like, who are the people in your life who have been so supportive of your athletic journey and who actually, like, without them you might not have become an athlete?
Yeah, I would say my dad is definitely my biggest one. My dad, when I was born, my dad played and coached on the semi-pro team up until I was about the age of 13, and a semi-pro football team. And being around like I was family, like those guys. Even now that we aren't like, even now we still go all their games. My dad just doesn't play or coach on the team anymore, but even now we still go out and like we'll hang out with them just like outside of football. Like we're all one big family still. And I would say not just my dad, but everybody on that field, like my dad, the head coach of the team is like a second dad to me. He always has been. And like I would say like those two and just the team in general definitely like gave me because like when I was little and they were doing warm ups on the field before a game or during practice because my dad's a single dad, so I'd be with him all the time at practices and games and stuff. I would do like the warm ups with them or I would try to do their warm ups with them, and I kind of just fell in love with sports because of the sense of happiness I got from working out. And I would say my dad has definitely been the most supportive because I'm one to push myself. Like field hockey is a new sport for me. So all I've been focusing on is field hockey. When I have spare time, I'm doing field hockey. I literally would do field hockey in like 3 in the morning if I can't sleep. So I work really hard to make sure I'm giving my best for my team and my dad understands that. And he understands that if I am doing too much for myself, that he can come talk to me, and like I won't get mad at him. Like I'll understand what he's saying he's like worried about like how much I'm doing. Like it's definitely something we have to focus on because I work out around like 3 to 4 hours a day. So and that's like not counting like if I have a game, just like regular practices and stuff. I work out all the time. So like when you're working out, you have to keep like make sure you're eating enough, especially with how hot it's been. You have to make sure like you're drinking enough liquids and stuff. So it's just really important that like I do that, and my dad has been my biggest supporter and biggest helper on helping me make sure I maintain that. And my grandmother as well, Farwell, which I'm sure a lot of you know, has also been a big help in making sure I'm eating enough. And like if I like haven't eaten in a while, she'll be like, "Why don't you eat something?" Because when you're working out a lot, it's and like with school and everything, I'm so busy. Forgetting to eat is something that is not because
Yeah.
I have an eating disorder or anything like that. It's because my mind is running 100 miles per hour that like eating is just not at the top of my list. So, and that's like, that happens to everybody at some point in your life, whether it's only
Mhm.
lasts for a few hours or like a few days, few months, few years. So, just having those people, like I know like anybody can come to me and be like, I haven't seen you eat in a while. Like, why don't you eat something? And I know like I can trust them and like you're right. Like it's so and I'll go like and I'll have like a protein bar, where like if I'm like on the go, I'll like at my girl like when I get my car, because I get my car at the end of this month, like get like an I'm gonna have a box of snacks in there. So um so like
Yeah.
it's important to keep just kind of balancing that out. And I'd say like just kind of everybody in my life has been a huge supporter of that.
Yeah, and I'm so glad that you pointed that out. When I was a teenager, probably actually around your age, when I was around your age, I was very competitive in equestrianism. Like, and that's a huge, like, time commitment and everything. And I would forget to eat. And I started passing out. I literally was
Yeah.
passing out, and people thought I was having an eating disorder, and I was like, no, you don't understand. Like, I'm busy, like, and I'm just working really hard. I'm just very active. So it's so great that you point that out, that when you're really committed to something, and if you're doing with a lot with your body, you have to keep replenishing those minerals and vitamins and nutrients, or else, it works against you. Like, you need to have your body working really well. It's your instrument. Like a musician, your
Mhm.
instrument is your body.
Yeah.
So I'm really glad that you pointed that out. My other question too is, you mentioned your dad and stuff. What about famous athletes that inspire you? Like, is there any athlete that you're like a really big fan of, or whose story really sort of lights you up?
So I actually have so many. Like I could go on such a roll. Like I could
I
literally
bet,
name
yeah.
100 people. I don't know if you guys know who he plays on the Angels. It's Shohei Ohtani. He's a baseball player. He actually just tore something in his arm, but I think he's hilarious. I love the way he plays baseball. He's a really really good baseball player, one of the all time greats in my opinion. He's insanely amazing, and I loved watching him play. But I think he tore his UCL. But I love Shohei Ohtani. I love Giannis Antetokounmpo, who plays on the Bucks. I love him so much, and I there's so many. Like Serena Williams is a queen. Simone Biles just came back to the gymnastics, which I'm so happy about.
Oh yeah, me too.
Um,
I'm so happy about that. That's awesome.
yeah, there's so many people, but I would say one that has like been a huge one for me for so long is Giannis Antetokounmpo or Rob Gronkowski. I have been a fan of both of them. I've been a fan of Giannis for like I'd say 5 years now, but Rob Gronkowski, can back me up on this. I've loved him since I was like 3 years old. Like I have had such an obsession with him for so long. Like I literally had like a poster and like stickers of him on my wall when I was younger. So many of them. Like I love him so much, and he was definitely a huge one for me because no matter like what was going on, no matter how hurt he was or how like whatever's going on in his life, he prioritized his teammates and his family, and he always kept a good attitude all the time, and it was super funny. So that's just kind of I just love Rob Gronkowski. I have so much Rob Gronkowski memorabilia. It's actually crazy. My dad got me a so I collect sports cards, and my dad got me a patch like this. So there's like you can get like he got me a card that had a pair of like Rob Gronkowski's like game worn patch in it, and I cried. I was very happy about that. I love him so much. So that's just there's so many I can name, but I feel like most people would suspect me to have a lot of like women like inspirations, which I do. But I grew up around semi-pro football. I mean, and it
Mm.
wasn't like women's football; it was men's football. So a lot of my inspirations are male football people because that's what I grew up around. So, but yeah, Rob Gronkowski is probably my number one, and Giannis Antetokounmpo because I mean I love him. But
I
those are probably my top two.
I love that, because like people who are passionate about what they're doing, they usually are fans too, and they see the path that was carved out by the people, the greats that came before them, and it really is inspiring. So I love seeing you be like a fangirl for all of this, because that's one of the things that gets you heart, and also sort of shows you maybe some possible trajectories for you in your life. And that brings me to my last question, which is, what's on your immediate horizon? What's in your future, athletically speaking, right now? What are you looking ahead to?
Right now I'm definitely looking ahead to playing field hockey for the rest of my high school career. because I did truly fall in love with the sport just in the short time I've been playing. But no, I as much as I do love softball, I have a whole entire plan about what I want to do, but my dream college is Purdue University, and I want to take the criminology program once I get out of high school. And they have a really nice club softball team and a really really good girls basketball team, and I'll probably check that out if I do get into Purdue. So sports will always be something that I prioritize, but for me, sports doesn't just include like things that you keep score on. For me personally, like sports can also include like lifting, and like setting like I call myself my own team and also like my opponent at the same time, because like if I only ran like a mile yesterday and I know I can do more, I'll try and run 2 miles today, and yesterday's mile will be my opponent. So I think for me, just like like working out is just something I always keep up on and always will keep up on, just because it truly does. When people say working out makes you happy, they're not just saying it. Like it truly, truly does. And yeah, I just you always expect me doing sports all the time because that's just me. I'm always working out and always doing sports. So.
That's really inspiring. I feel exactly the same way. And it does it like it does something chemically to our bodies and our minds and our mood. Like if I'm feeling really grouchy and then I go and I work out, I instantly feel better. It's just so awesome. Well, we've learned so much about you today with your athleticism. Thank you so much for allowing me this honor and congratulations on your premiere. So just congratulations. This was awesome. And thank you for allowing me to be here.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm so happy that you agreed. I mean, like I said, like coming on here, like scheduling and finding interviews is really hard. So,
It is.
and I just, it's, this was just like a last minute kind of like brainstormed idea, and I think it worked out really well. And thank you so much for agreeing to come on.
It did. Thank you so much.
Guys so much for tuning in. I hope you guys loved this premiere. I'm so excited that like this is the thing now that Cruising with LR is officially a thing. If you haven't already, make sure that you follow the Facebook group Cruising with LR, TikTok and Instagram. You can find all that stuff on the page. I did like it in the description because I forgot actually now that I think about it. But thank you guys so much for coming on. If you guys have like any ideas, anything like if you guys are like thinking about I did start poetry Sundays. I haven't made posts the past 3 Sundays, but like if you do want to share something on a Sunday that's poetry, you can go ahead and do that. Even if I don't announce it, like you can go ahead and just do that. Just because I do forget sometimes and I don't remember until the next day. So but I will be posting a bit more poetry on there just for you guys. If you guys are interested in seeing like maybe some more like sports content on the page, maybe some more like just what content you guys want to see. If you guys want to see like maybe some skincare videos, makeup videos, hair videos, like get ready with me or anything like that, just let me know and I can definitely get those done and post those for you guys, because this show is something that is not just for me but it's for everybody here to enjoy themselves and just kind of have fun watching and look forward to this episode and look forward to like checking the page and seeing something cool. So thank you guys so much for coming on. I hope you guys have a wonderful night or day wherever you are. Make sure you guys tune in next week at the same time on Tuesday for our new episode. And I'm so excited that you guys are here. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. And yeah, bye.